I wanted to ask you guys, because I actually think for a team that possibly may need a quarterback, looking to get one, this week on the show I do during the week, Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, I had some interesting comments about the possibilities of, hearing that Terry Bradshaw had came out and stated that he believes in Kenny Pickett and that he should get the opportunity to continue to be the quarterback in Pittsburgh. Some people brought up Justin Fields. Some people brought up Russell Wilson. Some people brought up Kirk Cousins. And it kind of settled in on, Kirk Cousins could end up in a different market other than Pittsburgh. And then it came down to thinking about, Tannehill is familiar with the offensive coordinator. But I had this to say about Russell Wilson, and I'm curious to get y'all's opinion on what quarterback would fit in Pittsburgh. Here's what I had to say.
I don't know that Russell Wilson would be a fit for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a bunch of hard-nosed, blue-collar, lunch pail, hard hat, guys working mills. We're just prideful on being hard-nosed, tough, regular dudes. I just don't know if you can't just bring in somebody and be like, yeah, he's had a great career. He can make our team better. It still has to be somebody that kind of.
I think he'll be just fine.
I don't know, man. I think if he's winning, it's fine. I just think integrating, because part of being a good professional in markets at the pro level is integrating into the community to a certain degree. And especially in a market like Pittsburgh. I just don't know that his personality.
You don't think he could integrate into Pittsburgh?
I just don't think his personality is a conducive personality for the Pittsburgh way.
I went on to say that I think that the shiny suit that we ended up seeing him wearing was way too shiny on the shiny meter. And I just don't know how that would fly, in the great city of Pittsburgh. What would you guys? Who do you think would fit going to Pittsburgh, and how off or how on was I with my take on Russell Wilson, and where would Russell Wilson fit? Because I know for certain he's not going to fit in Denver this next coming season.
LeVar, I look at it like this. Number one, let's unpack everything. When Kenny Pickett came out of the draft, everyone said he's ready to play. He's older, and he had a ton of college starts. So now when you come into the league and you're not ready to play, I still believe in him? Absolutely not. He got to go. Because when you have all these stars, you're older, you should be playing better than you are now. And so he cannot be the quarterback of the future. That's number one. Number two is this. I actually like Russell Wilson to the Steelers, and I'll tell you why. The Steelers want to run the ball. They want to play great defense. That's when Russell Wilson was at his best in Seattle.
But he wasn't happy.
They ran the ball, and they played. No, he was happy until he wanted more response. Put everything on my plate. Remember the let Russ cook on FS1 that we talked about so much? Russell Wilson, like everybody else, realizes he is not the guy that can do it all. As Bucky Brooks would say, he thought he was the tractor.
He
may not be the trailer, but he's somewhere in between. And so he ain't doing the pulling, but he doesn't need to be pulled. It's somewhere in between. And so if you can get back to the formula that made everyone believe Russell Wilson was just going to walk straight into the Hall of Fame, maybe he can get his career back on track, because Pittsburgh is going to run the ball. They're going to play great defense. You have receivers on the outside that can get open. You just have to put the ball on them accurately with anticipation and timing. And so if I actually think that's a good fit. I also like the Justin Fields angle. If he can get to Pittsburgh, any quarterback that can get to Pittsburgh, bro, you just got to play solid football. That defense is going to keep you in the game. That run game is going to give you single high coverage that makes reads so defined and easy. And so, for me, if I'm Russell Wilson, that's where I'm looking to go. Why would you want to go play in Pittsburgh? It's very similar to what you had in Seattle, and that's when you were at your best.
Man, you know what? I don't know Russell Wilson personally.
I don't either.
I've met the young man, but I don't know his temperament, his character of
I judged him by his suit.
of him, being in that meeting room on Monday mornings after a football game. Because let me tell you something, it's the real deal. We've been in some places and played in some organizations to where you got a guy like Mike Tomlin. Oh man, he's gonna be brutally honest with you. And from what I've seen and what I've heard, I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can take that. And I think that's what Mike Tomlin is looking for in a quarterback moving forward with his franchise. Obviously, man, listen, you have George Pickens, who I think with the right quarterback, he's a top 5 wide receiver in this football game. Obviously, you have Moore and you have Harris in the backfield and Deontay Johnson. You're a quarterback away from being.
And you got Freiermuth.
Right, and competing in this AFC. Look at all the quarterbacks in this division. You can say that two of these quarterbacks in this division are obviously top 5 quarterbacks.
One just won the MVP.
Right. So you have to bring in somebody to be able to run the team. And you know what makes the most sense for me? When I say this to people, they kind of look at me and they're like, well, he's not the most desirable guy, but he fits. And it's Sam Darnold.
Oh,
I think he fits what Pittsburgh wants to do right now. Listen, he's not young Ben Roethlisberger. He's not a bad quarterback. But if you give him the opportunity, just like taking away from everything that TJ just said, he fits what Pittsburgh wants to do. They're going to run the football. You're going to get the ball to 14. You're going to get the ball to Deontay Johnson and Freiermuth and sit behind this run game and just deliver the football. That's all they want to do. And I think he can manage these football games enough to the point to where they can be competitive in the AFC North. Everybody's talking about Justin Fields. If the Pittsburgh Steelers want Justin Fields, they would have already come out and said, you know what, we want Justin Fields, because that's how they operate. The whole Las Vegas Raiders thing is out because Getsy's out there, who was his offensive coordinator in Chicago. He's not going there. If he does not end up Sam Darnold in Atlanta, then I don't know where he's going. But I'm telling you, if I'm looking at Pittsburgh for a quarterback, I think Sam Darnold makes the most sense because
so you're going to put your Mike Tomlin.
He's not going to play in San Francisco.
You're going to put it on the line to bench Kenny Pickett, probably get rid of Mason Rudolph, may keep him as a third, but you most likely let him go, and you're going to place your job security on Sam Darnold.
Hey, do you think right now that Mike Tomlin is really concerned about job security?
I mean, he should be.
LeVar, this man has never had a losing season, and look what he has done with the team that he has had.
I get it.
But, I mean, a lot of people make over to Mike Tomlin never had a losing season, but he needs to win more. When you're in Pittsburgh, you got to win champion. That's what they're about. Like, not having a losing season.
Look at the division.
I mean, it's tough. It is tough.
This was a year to get it.
It's the best. No, it was not.
It was.
This is the best division in football.
Joe Burrow went down.
The AFC North is the most competitive division in football.
You really
Deshaun Watson.
Period. Point blank.
Deshaun Watson wasn't up. You had 2 starting quarterbacks in the division that weren't up, which means that left 2 teams that you had to beat. You had to get Baltimore, and you had to get that was it. You just need to get Baltimore.